afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, a master of propaganda, hero of Reich, defender of the fatherland. We're out here to the exciting 1 vs 1 on Holotny Farm here between in the east. EC fighting for the Soviet Union for the glory of Comrade Stalin and the 10th Guards Tank Corps. With shot rifle, got a motor and advanced warfare. Got a tank bulletin there, by the way, a bit rare, but for increased venom penetration, and some conscript bullets there versus Luvnest, fighting for Deutschland, for the Reich, for the 7th Panzer Division there, tasked with clearing up the communists hiding in this area. We got Spearhead, Blitzkrieg, and close air support. Infantry and MD bulletins right there for Luvnest. As for the T-34-76 penetration, yeah, as your usual rule of thumb, I'd usually not put much stock into those. The effect tends to be, at least in my opinion, negligible. You're better off going for something that, say, grants more experience or otherwise. For vehicles, basically. Experience, maybe accuracy if they got in a machine gun, but that's super rare, but, you know, mainly experience, really. Penetration, generally, it's going to have no effect. We've got engineer there, 2 countries, we've got a power. One pioneer start here, 2 grenadiers on the way for Luvnest. 2 grenadier moving ahead there. Southern punch caught there. Conscripts spreading out, noting of course alternate aggressive northern push this way, of course easy cancel, you know, feel out Luvnest's early move, but also apply a bit of pressure to him, sort of bit where it's rather uncomfortable. These closer to the basement. Generally, the closer you can strike to your opponent's base, generally the more uncomfortable it can in most cases make him feel. And that's always sort of a neat little trick there if you're unsure what to do, sort of try and creep up some units, go for the sort of points close to home. Of course, no one likes that. But there you go, concentrating up here, holding up there. That's going to make it a bit harder here for Luvnest's troops to move about. But at the same time, though, Luvnest, of course, is not exactly the type sort of hold back, and he's in fact seems to be sort of trying to pull the opposite with his opponent. Going up here for the cop on there, where goes striking close to home for EC. 4th conscript squad there arriving. You've got Sam actually laid down here. We've got 3 grenadiers here so far for Luvnest. Kind MD-42, and of course right here we see the barbed wire is making the defense of this area a bit more miserable here for the pioneers. They have a harder time finding cover. And he's getting a mortar, a Granatenwerfer. Interesting move there by Luvnest. Pioneers are pushed back by conscripts advancing. Grenadiers moving ahead there. Bit of a shootout there between the 2 sides. Grenadiers heading from the north. Mortar almost down there. Although technically, and a fun fact there, the 8cm mortar was actually considered a heavy mortar by the beginning of the war by the Germans. Yes, heavy mortar there, so little fun fact, not one of those you usually hear a lot about. We're moving up the 8cm there. Bit of push down to the south. And there we go. Easy senses an opportunity to go for the cop on, then thus striking at Luvnest's fuel supply. Good job there, good job there. Conscripts continue to fight from the church there. Conscripts going to try and, you know, sneak about. There we go, hitting them from the south. That's definitely going to catch those guys, getting a bit of a pincer. Threatening to annihilate them, or at least cut them off quite severely. We've got 5 conscripts there for easy, so rather infantry start there. Could indicate he might be going there for advanced warfare. Of course, that's the one that really sort of plays into all of these conscripts. Submachine guns, repair kits, and such, plus the radio intercept and steel attack, plus the T-35 could also be good additions there for EC. Engineers stemming a bit about, but there we go. Further pressure here. You could, I think, been pushed a bit harder here for the fuel pump. He's got, what, 3 conscript squads here. And that could easily apply some serious pressure around the cop on there and the fuel point, denying it to Luvnest. Of course, it would perhaps leave the south a bit more open, but I think, you know, it could well be worth it. Of course, he could also just use his engineers to lay down some mines around here so far. I don't think we've actually seen any mines whatsoever. Just a bunch of ooh-rahing. Still no sort of larger pressure. He seems to be falling into a bit of a defensive pattern here, despite having a numerical superiority in the north. There we got Luvnest sort of hedgehogging forwards using buildings, of course the mortar supporting all. MD-42 moving up to support, and we got a 2nd pioneer squad on, so rather heavier tier 1 there so far for Luvnest. Heavier tier 1. There we go, pushing up with a flamethrower there versus the south. From the south, we've got the infantry trying to suppress them. Mortar, of course, can also lead down to bombardment. It's not too much focus here about the country of the north. We've got flamethrowers here and the pioneers there. Mortis miss. Cox moving from the north. Aiming for 2 exposed. At the same time, pick up a score. Let's go for the copper. Propagandacast flying as well. Propagandacast force away the MD42 there. Luvnest might have slightly gone a bit too overconfident here. Still managed to sort of stop the assault there partly. Mortis still not firing, and that could have been, I think, been a quick way to stop that upper line to focus on the north. But right there, we got easy bases sort of flowing through like a red tide, threatening to wash away all that Luvnest so far has managed to achieve during this battle, which is not a frightful lot anyways. Could take up here, go for some light mechanized company swiftly, get out some panzer gun or maybe a half track. No, none of that, none of that.
The sector has been cut off.
And there you go, going to take up some heavy gun counter, push back, retreating, low health, low numbers. Then there's a fun for the building, of course the flame force will be able to quickly flush them out with fire and hate. Mostly hate. But mostly fire actually. There you go, gonna do this there. Scorched. Poor Reinhardt did not make it out of that one alive.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Constantly push back. Troops suppressed. Points there being grabbed. As Pioneers advance ahead, we got a bit of a shooting up north. Grenadiers versus conscripts, and nothing further going on here. Cut off on there being reconnected by Easy once more. Bit of counter-attack there for Luvnest, but not quite at the same level as Easy so far. Of course, Easy sort of could lay down a fuel case, which will make it a bit harder there for Luvnest to pull anything off, but also give him a bit more fuel advantage. But he's always sort of got a bit off versus Luvnest, but certainly further solidified. You still got no tech up there, and we got a building up here. You got a support weapon company up. Could add in Maxims, mortars, and the likes here for East. That could certainly be helpful. Could be used to sort of make Luvnest support weapons there a bit less effective. A smoke screen focus on right from the MD42 could certainly make things a lot more tricky for Luvnest and the 7th Panzer Division, because they're getting burned up by the Pioneers and they're Flammenwerfers. Grenadiers taking losses there. Support weapon company up for the glory of the Rodina. Minor losses here as well. Luvnest certainly having a bit of a rough start, but he's basically sort of doubling down on that tier 1 to get as much out of it, hoping that he won't be hit by too quickly there by enemy armor from EC. Of course, question is, will be able to pull off, because again the amount of fuel here that EC so far getting in terms of advantage could certainly embolden EC. Sort of quick play for some armor, maybe an early AA half track. Either of those could be quite potent versus Luvnest, who I don't think still has taken up there actually. In particular, we get that northern fuel point. Of course, another option is just basically get up some fuel caches here for EC. That would certainly also further sort of play into that. But they're going to be put to trouble. Fires spreading through the building. MD42 managed to escape the conscious that were actually focused up on the mortar crew. MD42 holding up the there. Pioneers flushing in with their schmeissers. Falls on the way at the same time. Conscripts flanking in there. MD42 from the north. Conscripts there back into the building. They themselves lit on fire. Trying not to get caught up in their burning. And there you go. Conscious there versus the Grenadiers are flanking in from the south. Grenadiers a bit of exposed position now. Still no tech up there from Luvnest. Still no tech up. Further pressure from EC. Further pressure. Nothing though from the support weapon company. He's got plenty of manpower. Shock rifle has been chosen. Shock rifle has been chosen. Shock troopers are being summoned up there in their body armor with their PPH-41s and satchels full of grenades. Shock troopers were, by the way, assault engineers of the Soviet style. Little fun fact there. Because they're pushed away, engineers sneaking in from the north of the water centre, trying to burn out some more fascists. So there you go, we got Luvnest and just push back. No doctrine chosen by Luvnest. No doctrine chosen. I mean, one option could, I suppose, be actually going for blitzkrieg and use tactical movement to sort of quickly move out of the sort of pin he's in. Try to that way push back. So they're going forward to catch them in a bit of a sore spot. Half the unit gone there, the rest are somewhat alive there, but only somewhat. No further here from the base of EC. Though of course he soon got the resource act to sort of take up. Again, fuel casualty would be in addition. Shock troopers need up there. Pioneers want to burn out the conscripts. Potting their grab by the MD42. Luvnest definitely needs to grab as much territory as he can. And there we go, finally taking up there close to the 10-minute mark. It could be risky depending on what EC does next. He's got the resources for the tank command or the mechanized armor company. And there goes, something's being built, something's being built, and it's the tank battle command. Things have just gotten a lot more dangerous there for Luvnest, who's got enough to sort of quickly stop any sort of early armour or vehicle rush there from EC, which could definitely cause some damage there to Luvnest. And definitely needs to get back that fuel point because that's only fueling EC's armoured rush there. Pioneers being sent southwards there, but most of the push is for the centre. We've got MD-42s covering the centre and showing that if EC folks on can't sort of sneak up behind Luvnest here. Good job there. There you go, managed to push back east from the north mostly. Small victory here for Luvnest as it moves forward. Pioneers down south are quickly getting stopped here by a larger constant force. EC seemingly favouring overkill approach there. Tango command half done. Still nothing further here from Luvnest. One option, of course, would be sort of try and play onwards for tier 3. But I don't think he's got the fuel to really pull it off at the moment. And again, he's basically going to both fuel points. So while in theory, going for a heavy tier 1, in most cases, you're going to say, oh, but skip tier 2, go for tier 3. The problem is, in this case, he's actually been denied so much fuel by EC, and EC's gotten so much fuel, it's not really feasible. He has to play for tier 2. I like to make a nice company, unless he had maybe say, encirclement, could call up some storms with the pantry flicks. But he doesn't. So he basically has to go for the like to make a nice company to at least get a pack 40 out, otherwise he risks very much taking some heavy damage there from EC. But at least he's managed to get his fuel back. He's managed to cut off again EC there from his fuel, but it's not quite on the same level there, so Rashman that EC's starting to return there against Luvnest. Luvnest in that regard might want to sort of consider getting up fuel catch to help offset the fuel losses. Good hit from the mortar then before to stop the structures there, pinning them down completely. Doing his best to basically sort of hold that cut-off point, but it's not going to last long. Not with the lack of cover basically for the Grenadiers. So while it's a bold attempt here, it's a short-lived one. And there you go, here's rushing out the pack 40. Luvnest is quite aware of what is likely to come next here from EC. Unless of course EC plays for the late game corners, of course he doesn't. In this case, of course, Luvnest is just assuming his opponent's going to rush out from. Of course, again, with this patch, of course, more so it's more likely to do that, which is in a sense good. Of course, not for the German play of the sort of man to build up with use an early advantage. He could go here for the A half tack. That would also reinforce the front line, making EC harder to push back. Or he might want to aim for the Tier 70. I mean, both are valid options here. Both are valid options. There we go. Going for the T70. Saying munitions perhaps for something else. I mean, a few good mines with demo charge black to be a good choice for EC. Could make it harder for Luvnest to push out of the bind he's in. But the north is very much Deutschland's at the moment. Panzer Kanone 40 moving forward here. Primary German anti-tank gun of the war after, well, the early years there where they either had to rely on the Pack 36 or the Pack 38.
We are losing a sector.
Some still had to, mostly third or fourth or fifth rate divisions who couldn't be, well, weren't deemed necessary enough to sort of be equipped with Pack 40 and basically had to make do with old anti-tank guns, or in some cases Russian or other armies' equipment. Basically, they'd still mostly Russian, though. They killed a lot of Russian guns, for example, would handle them up to sort of less grand units. Quick multi there, versus MD-42. Chops was moving to the north there. North is quickly collapsed there for Luvnest again. Bit rough there, bit rough. Got the T-70 light tank moving ahead here. Rushing up to search out some easy targets. Mitchen's won the mortar, by the way. Largest scrummaging here with Bandits holding up for Pioneers, put flank in. Hang on. Right, sorry about that. Mother decided to make a phone call. Good thing in, we got an aggressive push there from Easy, pushing back there, and of course now he's got a light tank supporting him. There's a Pack 40, of course, will deal with it, but if Easy can sort of keep his tactical senses sharp, he might be sort of able to avoid it. Of course, he's probably going to expect, a Pack 40 reacting to it. Nice, a few strikes here and there, then pulling back, which will work out nicely. We've got incendiary barrels called in as well on the centre position. Basically burning out Luvnest, well, support position there with the mortar and the MD-42, forcing him to pull that back as well. Further loosening his grip here in the north, making it harder for him to respond to Easy's moves up there. We've got some slight pushing down south, that's good here. Luvnest not being completely bogged down here by what Easy's doing up north. But Easy's certainly not giving Luvnest an easy time. We've got a field gun here around just in case, that Luvnest does pull up some armour, some panzers or whatnot. Good thinking there. Pioneers in a bit of trouble, mortar fire raining down there. We've got MG42 gunners, they're lining up. Troops are pressed there, he could pop down a smoke grenade. It looks like he's just home, he can sort of crawl his way out of it and ultimately retreats. That should make things a bit easier there for Luvnest to push back. Of course, he's still got the T-20 to worry about, but that's all he's responding to the south. And the German troops are moving back, and the Pioneers are probably about to get one hell of a surprise. And there we go. In fact, it might have just been a distraction by Luvnest to draw away troops from the north, and more specifically the T-70 away from the north. Or maybe not. We also got the Telemann there, which has still not gone off to spot the incendiary barrage, but I don't think you could lure the T-70 into that. However much Luvnest would like to do that. So Paul McCall, they're going up, so he has to take up there, managed to do that, doing everything else. That's good though. Should be actually able to quickly get out of Sturmgeschütz. That would help a bit there versus the early T-70 here for Luvnest. Of course, he might play it a bit more cool, go for an Ostring, which will still deal with the T-70, or of course go for a Panzer IV, which just sort of wants, you know, a bit more overall. CoH2 is hiding behind here, behind the trees, behind the house. Lots of action there. EC, I mean, he's got a large advantage, but you know, he could be building up a bit further, and I don't think, oh, we got one mine here. So there's not been a lot of mining overall. Or no demo charges either. The miss out there, I think, by EC. He could also call up some mortars, you know, so they bombard his opponent's mortar to make it harder there for Luvnest to move about, use his Pack 40 and whatnot. CoH2 needs to go away before the British focusing down. We got the Minesfield Pioneers moving up there, clearly taking his opponent's edge there, worrying that easy might allow down, laid down, mines falls back again. We pretty much only get those. In that regard, this is probably a bit more aggressive with the Spines continuing the overall map advantage. He's happy to try and start the fight. Bit of a missed opportunity, I think, by EC versus the opponent. Lots of suffered there. And again, another fall back here. The MG42 brings to be a bit too much there. No intended rounds are being utilised here by Luvnest, so increase the damage, increase the bleed. And in the base, you know, Stug, you know, Ostwind looks like he's playing for the Panzerkampfwagen 4. Right off the bat. For EC, I mean, he's closing in on the IS-2, also the KV-8. If he's going to for the IS-2, I would say, you know, get maybe out a fuel cache, otherwise a T-34. Another T-70 could also be a good option at the moment. An AA half, he's got a lot of options. There you go, though. Luvnest is getting the Panzerkampfwagen to support his efforts. Grenadiers flanking in the field gun, consequently to stall that. T-70 rapidly rolling back. Going for the southern victory point there, he's certainly got a bit of lead there for EC, and he's actually gone for the KV-8. Been a bit of while there, seems to see what it does. He's getting a slight revival here after the patch, though very slight. Of course, could use some push the advantage further here versus all the infantry. Of course, that Luvnest has been with the Pack 40 there nicely. So again, fuel cache would then be a really good idea then for EC to help with the fuel. More fuel is always better. Unless of course you're not using it, in which case it's pointless. And so far EC does seem to be making use of the fuel. And there you go, Panzerkampfwagen for the Moglas from the Panzer Battalion here. On the 7th Panzer Regiment. The 7th Panzer Division. Speedily moving ahead there, Pentagon machinery going up. The KV-8 being one of several KV variants, there's the KV-1, KV-2, KV-8 and KV-85. There was also a variant of the KV-1, the KV-1S, which had less armor but was a little faster. Pioneers being burned away. No. T-70 got knocked out here. T-70 got knocked out. Not able to outrun the Pack 40's armor piercing shell, and there you go, Panzer getting the KV-8, KV-8 there, doing something there to the fascists, but of course it countered by the Panzerkampfwagen here. Shots to this, bouncing off the thick frontal armor. We are here at the mid-game analysis counter situation. He's Luvnest sort of slightly more pushing back against EC, who sort of had a nice advantage, but I think to a certain extent, you know, hasn't quite fully capitalized on it with, you know, say mines or some caches. Of course, he's got, you know, KV-8 versus a Panzer IV, but still, that's a Panzer IV. The KV-8 on the other hand can't really do a lot versus the Panzer IV. His field gun isn't really nearby to support the front line either. You know, maybe deal with that Panzer IV as well. So looking a bit dangerous now for EC, despite, you know, that good start. Again, a certain lack of capitalization on it, but also Luvnest sort of reacting reasonably solidly. In this case, the heavy tier 1 actually worked out for him quite well. Follow up with the Pack 4 and then a quick move to tier 3, and the Panzer 4 certainly, you know, helping a bit out there. So it's not quite as straightforward there. Easy might have wanted to bring up some support weapons to deal with this, you know, elements that Luvnest had left, but again, he just sort of kept throwing infantry at it, which worked out actually quite nicely there for Luvnest. Right now for easy fuel cache would be good. Maybe getting out a quick tank or maybe another field gun, but definitely think of T-34-76 would be of help there. Then he could maybe try and play for an IS-2, but if he's going to for an IS-2, he should definitely get up at least, I have to say, 2 fuel cans, sort of help speed up the fuel acquisition. He should also try and harass Luvnest fuel more. He's seen a Panzer 4, and of course Luvnest will likely bring in more armor. He also has the potential for a Tiger there. I mean, whatever easier can do to slow down the fuel acquisition is good. I mean, a very one situation, of course, Tiger, another one's just getting up a Stug, which support with the Panzer 4 could, for example, actually quite easy to deal with the KV-8. So there are some definite risks there for easy. Definite risks at the moment. More mines would also be good. I mean, he's really not utilising his munitions sort of in that way very much. For Luvnest, I mean, he's looking better now, of course, after that rather rough start there. Fuel caches for him would be a good choice, but overall I do think he needs to consider adoption, considering his force. I mean, he could always go for close air support, but doesn't really mesh well. Spearhead could also be an option, but I don't really think it would do much good either. I mean, he could of course go for fragmentation bombs. That's a Tiger, Panzer Tactician, but then again he would also just go for Blitzkrieg, calling a command tank, tactical movement, which would help with all the infantry units. You have to sort of quickly win that Panzer Tactician still, but also the Stuka close air support could have up their armour. I mean, there are a few options there as well, depending on what sort of Luvnest plans. Of course, this will just, you know, be bringing a lot of air support to deal with elements of easy here and there. Of course, easy could, no, actually not. Never mind. So a few sort of options here for both sides at the moment. Of course, having down the battle actually proceeds. His shops a bit of trouble though.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Up north, conscripts on the run. Dispatched with haste by Feldwebel Sigma. Looking up there, the NB-42 shock troopers put back down before moving in. On the hunt there for some shock troopers, about to crush them, and shock troopers, the lazy bastards, they have refused to die by crushing. And there you go, KV-8 moves ahead, hits the Tellermine, so it did pay off there for Luvnest. Small victory there, but there you go, Jürgen Heinz catches on fire there from the KV-8 as it blazes away, burning them. And then he caught an incendiary barrels. That's just a huge reach of munitions there for like easy, which would have been better served, you know, on mines to catch up the German armour, or blow apart some poor Fritzes and fascists. Nothing much going on the base there either. KV needs to fall back for repairs. Oh, he steals away a platform. That could work out. Maybe then again the cruise exploded in the Panzer 4. So while the idea is nice, he lacks something to not help cover it. Had he maybe had a mortar laid on a smoke screen, that could have worked out. Instead, it didn't. Good hit on the Panzer 4 though, good hit on the Panzerkampfwagen 4. Still a lot of infantry then. That regard again, the question is really, maybe Easy should have gone for something, you know, better work with his these unit choices. Again, advanced warfare I think would have worked out actually better for easier than shock rifle at the moment. At least in my opinion. As they're collapsing, could no longer bear the weight of its iniquity of not being German made. Sergeant Anton leading the force here ahead. Straight to counter the fascist assault, but seems to be not quite working out. There are grenades flying through the air, mortar rounds as well. KV-8 still being repaired, but almost ready. Sturmgeschütz there arriving for Luvnest. Of course, by the later stages of the war, it was not exactly uncommon for a Panzer battalion in a German army to be a mix of Panzer forces too, for example. It was increasingly difficult to get enough Panzer forces to do so. I mean, they could easily sort of mixed together. In fact, by late 1944, the Stug battalion, each Panzer division, was actually more or less well non-existent. So any Stugs would have been either part of the Panzer battalion, maybe of the tank shot battalion. Fun fact there. Fun fact there. T-34-76 are running to support EC's frontline efforts. Going ahead to try and burn away some flash. Could try and get the gunners on the run. Instead goes to the mortar. Of course, getting that knocked out could also work out nicely here for Mr. Easy.
Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Forcing away the mortar crew there. Good shot from the Panzer forward, of course, bounces off the frontal armour there of the KV-8.
Supply lines have been cut.
Point there grabbed. And we got the T-34-76 there arriving. soon. Going again there for there goes Junkus arrives. 75mm Stuck. Opens up there on the KV8, penetrates the armor both shots. Pack 40 back in the fight as well. Veterans on the K1. Small victory there, I suppose. Small victory. And there you go, T-34-6 mobilized. Support the front line effort. T-34 though being a bit of a death trap, in part due to the hatches, which were quite difficult to open even under normal conditions, and when things first got really nasty, it got even more problematic. In fact, some of them had intensive jamming once they got, you know, heated up. So, a bit of a death trap there. Nice moving in against the KV8, moving up to get up with Panzerfaust there. Heinz there, bursting into flames. His habit of watching himself in schnapps turned out to have a bit of a nasty side effect there. Failed to move to cover, can't move as well, moving in as well. Veteran gone for the Sturmgeschütz. Could have added their machine gun to help deal with the infantry there, but there we go. Got the field gun opening up. Panzerfaust pulling back there, halfway towards the 2. T-34 needs to go away before it's lost. Pack 40 opening as well there. Scheisse. And there you go. T-34-6 cooked up. Jet's blown to bits. A smouldering heap of scrap metal. We got engineers on the way to help repair. Good. Particularly would help speed up the repair of the KV8, which is good. Halfway towards 52, that's nicer. Still no mines from easy. Nothing to really slow down, but we've still got some irrational there against the fuel point again. Working especially to deny fuel to Luvnest. Good. And Panzergrenadier now on the way. Panzergrenadier. More offensive infantry there for Luvnest. Bit of push there. North of Pioneers were spotted and pushed away. Still would benefit with a machine gun there, the Pentel mounted machine gun Gewehr. Later models of the Stu-G would, by the way, have a coaxial machine gun mounted in them, actually increasing the amount of machine guns overall to 2. Little fun fact there. Also, the top one was actually replaced, at least in some of them, with a remote control machine gun, a bit like the Hetzer. If you remember, Company Here's One, that was basically sort of controlled from the inside. Of course, they had to get out to sort of reload it, so that was a big, you know, problem with the machine gun. Now the T-34 then on the way to replace the one lost. Looks like EC won't be getting any IS-2 anyway soon. Fuel caches will still be a benefit even with 2 fuel points at the moment, I think. Good hit them all to the almost annihilating the entire country squad. Good to Albert Jürgen. And there we go, close air support. Chosen for Luvnest, 7th Panther, calls in some favours there from the Luftwaffe. Quick reconnaissance pass there. Allows us to quickly suss out. And there go anti-tank strafe now against the KV. Needs to move it. Quickly come, lads. Well, the tank soaked up most of the shots there, but the engineers have to get back to work fixing it up. Come on, easy. I believe the engineers are in shock, having just watched all their effort repairing it be wasted. God damn it, not again. I quit. Transfer me to the penal troops. I don't care. I hate this. Those are being pushed back by conscripts. We've got the T-34-6 moving in. And we got the strafing line going. KV8 actually pulls back. Here's strafing up north here. The troops there. Good job there. Pan 4 charges and machine guns blazing. Troops still not upgraded. Moving back the KV8 a bit, so trying to repair it elsewhere. And there you go, T-34 striking against the MG42. Troops using forcing healing up. We're definitely loving to see getting more bold and more aggressive. The armor certainly hand doing it quite well. The KV turns out to be perhaps not the ultimate best decision there from EC at the moment. Not with only one field gun, sort of trying to deal with the fascist armour. As they're taking losses from the machine guns, Molotovs, and Panzer IV support by the troop they're charging into. They want to be careful, they need to be careful. Field gun notes, machine needs to turn about there. Barway notes in ambush mode, Let's go back. There we go, attacking ground. Betty 2 gained. Still falling back now alongside the Panzerkampfwagen field, which is very close to this. There you go, shoots and added. gets a good hit there on some Pioneers, but that's about it really at the moment. KV8 fixed up once more. At this point, Easy, I think, should consider getting up a second T-34 for support here at the moment, at the front line. Might have a chance of actually effectuating a push here if the KV1 leads the way, soaking up the damage. The T-34's then sort of block flanking targets. Oh, nice, they took a hit from the mortar. Looks like he finally added in a mortar ball there. Easy, I think, should have one probably too soon now. KV8 though, target it getting stunned, my target weak point. And there we go, main gun destroyed. KV8 won't so much longer, Fugan firing away. Misses though, misses. And there we go, KV8 kaput, kaput. And an anti-tank strafing that ensures it's definitely kaput. In fact, it's beyond kaput. It's tot. But there we go, we actually got tracking heavy neutralized, increasing line of sight. They're making it a bit harder there to avoid its fire. Good job there by EC. There's the flanking against the gun mortar there. More guns are ramming for Luvnest. Replace the ones lost in the fight against the communists. Victory point being taken away there. He's still sort of hoping maybe to maintain and bleed there versus Luvnest. In which case, you'd also be applying more pressure here up north. This down to basically one T-34 there versus eventually 2 Panzer IV and eventually 2 Sturmgeschütz, which still could benefit from the pendulum mounted MG42. And there goes the full flanking. You got the contra that roaring in, but it's Vetchi 2 that gets off one burst. They could be suppressed right away. No, they manage it. They bloody well manage it. But there you go, Panzer IV move. Oh, Panzer IV with a low amount of health there. If he moved a hit far there, looks like here we do see that Luvnest realises his mistake. Otherwise, he could risk the T-34 flanking and getting there in a shot or two there from the rear. So damn close right there for Luvnest. That was one nasty potential mistake there. Up north there, being pushed away from the centre, and further north, of course, we've got the victory point. They're falling to shock troopers. We also got a second figure here, finally ramming there for EC. Good, good. Added anti-tank. Looks like he might not be trying to play for an IS-2 here. I mean, that could work, but he's going to need fuel cash to really make it work. Of course, simply otherwise not going to get the enough at any point. This sort of, match Luvnest, who could easily get up, say, several Stoops or Panther 4 at the same time, and in that way, the IS-2 will have a hard time finding any traction. In particular, when you're also adding the veteran army already under the command of Luvnest. His only further problems on the horizon.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
One's been grabbed left and right. Luvnest is definitely in the stronger position. There we go, another Stuka reconnaissance pass. At this point, Easy should be getting a bit paranoid there. The skies are not friendly. The skies are fascist. Beautiful, they're moving. Good, good. We've also got a Stuka bombing strike there available for Luvnest. Halfway to victory, by the way, there you go, MB42, they're stopping the shock troops there. No smoke grenade there from East, surprisingly enough. You see most commonly, shock troops just reacting with a smoke grenade to any kind of MB42 fire. There goes the strength one for the T-34-6. There we go, there we go. Closing in on that IS-2, closing in, but... Oh dear, we got an anti-tank strike. They're calling in the T-34 running from the rear. A quick strafe there gets the T-34, almost knocking it out there in the process. Bit too slow their reaction from EC. He still managed to save the T-34, but needs to pull it back for some serious repairs. Otherwise, that's going to be knocked out faster than the Italian army. Nothing going in the base. Come on, EC, pull back the T-34. Pull it back at the same time. Pan 4 striking from the centre. Mowing down Russians left and right. There we go. Absolute massacre at the same time. That's what's trying against the contract there, but the assault here not going too well. They're out in the open. They're already low on health and numbers. Then, charging against a lot of countries standing still. Not really helping. Bunkering it off. And there we go. We see a full retreat. They're full retreat. Counter-attack though here going in from EC in response. T-34 still not pursuing repairs. Very close to that IS-2 though, very close, but will it be enough? Will it be enough? Luvnest could easily for an example now get out of Panther 4 more support all of this. North is more or less all German once more. Molten there against the MD-42. Very close to the IS-2, but will they be able to aid him at this moment anymore?
Standing by.
Or would it be too little, too late?
Looks done to me. Yes, comrade. The new men have arrived. Our points have fallen to 300.
You can certainly see he's in a lot more of a defensive posture at the moment. There's some light harassment there up north, but overall, he seems to be sort of trying to sort of not rushing into any sort of kill zones at the moment. Of course, Luvnest sort of keeps pushing forwards again and again. Seems to be happy using this Panther 4 and the Stu. Otherwise, just relying on air support here. Keep it for there. There we go, getting hit by the Pack 40 plus the Stu there. Basically can't get out of that one. In fact, the T-34 is almost gone, though it is almost victory 2 as well. He's got the fuel now, just needs the manpower because, of course, will he be able to do anything now? Things are quickly getting out of hand here. German infantry launching the assault from the centre. Panther 4 could easily flank up out here from the north, while the Stu then attacks to the south with a pinpoint machine gun if he wants anything does to the infantry. But overall here, the situation is pretty grim. Panther 4 actually not pulling back fully, not just attacking in from the north, but that was really a missed opportunity I think there by Luvnest. Field gun cleared out, Panther could take the advantage. Stu could probably get the T-34 with a single hit. Engineers wipe, pop the flame for a drop. Stu misses, come on Helmut! And there we go. And GG, well played there from EC. Same from Luvnest, and there we go. EC surrenders. Game over. A loss for the Soviet Union. A victory here for Germany. An interesting fight overall. We saw sort of Luvnest coming back there from a rather rough start. I think it rather came down to two things. You know, EC just kept throwing away infantry, despite Luvnest reacting to it. He didn't say add in any mortars. I mean, a pair of mortars I think could have changed this game up a lot. For example, otherwise the shock rifle doctrine. I'm not entirely sure that was the right choice either. I mean, the KB did something, but overall, considering all the infantry had, I think advanced warfare would have been the better choice. Be allowed to make better use of them, would allow to repair tanks faster. Calling T-35, so I think which also helped a bit better here. Plus, strafing runs could also be helpful. Another thing was also the lack of mines to demo charge. Overall, I think those sort of things there not quite being in EC's arsenal rather gave sort of Luvnest the chance to get back in the fight rather easily there to a certain extent. I think Luvnest could have chosen a doctrine earlier, but overall he made sort of the right choice. He sort of responded correctly there to what EC was doing. He didn't panic, he didn't fluster, he just sort of took it carefully one by one, taking advantage of every mistake here that EC made throughout the fight. So very nicely played there by Luvnest, very nicely played, and I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you sort of got some ideas from matches to sort of help improve your game. If you did, feel free to subscribe, tell your friends, like it. The more that they like this video, of course, the more we'll see it. And otherwise, feel free to share it with friends and whatnot. Provide comments in the feedback in the comment section. Of course, you can also send in your replays of your own. This is Imperial Cheers, and thank you for watching, and see you all tomorrow. Bye.